Audio Jungle.
Hello, this is Anastasia von Sivers and the Power of One podcast show. Are you ready to embark on a journey of inspiration and empowerment? Well, look no further because the Power of One represents you, our special and remarkable guest. Please have a look at the profile. Woman, entrepreneur, over 20 years of experience in the fashion industry, celebrity influencer, over 10 years as a TV and media personality. Rosemin Madhavadji.
Let's start.
Yeah, let's start. What was your big start? As long as I know, you were participating in dressing Queen Rania, Jude, Madonna, and the list is endless.
I was very lucky to work with incredible brands. That's kind of where I started meeting all these celebrities along the way. So I was really fortunate to work with Gucci and be really kind of a part of the pivotal team for Juicy Couture in the height of its success in the early 2000s. So yeah, it's been kind of nice to work with these celebrities and I guess not only just style them, but like really just to show them fashion, you know, when you're working with a brand, to just show them different collections. Because something like Juicy's collection was, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pieces. So my job was really to curate and gift a lot of these celebrities, but really curate personal packages for each of them. And that's why a lot of the photos that, you know, whether Queen Rania had for her children's birthday, they were all in these like cute juicy shirts. It's because I really took the time to understand their style.
Yeah, but this is the list is endless of people you worked with, celebrities, business people. You've been doing this for 20 years. It's an incredible journey. How did you start? What was your big start after you graduated in London in university?
Yeah, I went to London College of Fashion, which is now called the University of Arts. And I don't think my success started after I graduated, because I think when I look at my career journey now, I could actually see that the career path of experimenting in fashion and being in the arts started at a very young age. So my parents were immigrants. They moved from East Africa to Canada. They literally, you know, came with 2 suitcases and started their life all over again. And one of my dad's first businesses was in property, and he had like a residential business kind of commercial space, and one of the commercial spaces was like a magazine store. And that was actually my first time having access to magazines like W, Town and Country, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar. I also had a sister who was 11 years older than me, who was tall and beautiful, and I just wanted to wear her high heels. You know, I'd go in her room and play with her makeup and try her high heels. But I think that's when I was really exposed to fashion, like seeing beautiful photography and those supermodels on the cover of Vogue. I actually had more fun grabbing Vogue or Town and Country or W, you know, rather than probably a storybook. So I was just attracted to that photography at a very young age. And when I look back, I also, you know, when my mom gifted me dolls as, you know, birthday gifts, or if I got dolls as birthday gifts,
Yeah,
the first
we
thing.
all had dolls.
Yeah, we all had dolls. But for
Then
me,
Barbies.
yeah, exactly. And so for me, like I begged my mom to take me to the fabric store so I could buy fabric. And, you know, she taught me how to sew, and then I got my first sewing machine, and I started just kind of dressing these dolls. And I realized like I started having this real interest in fashion. And I think that over the years that really evolved, whether it was taking part in a high school fashion show or in the summers I'd be interning. And fast forward, when I did make that decision to attend fashion school in London, I think I didn't know how long I was going to be there, because, you know, from 18 years old to going to London, the exchange rate was crazy. It was 3 to the dollar. So it was a lot of money my parents were spending, not only on tuition, but just like, you know, housing and spending money and all of that. So I thought, oh my gosh, like how am I going to afford to live here after 3 years? Like my education will be so quick, and then I'll probably just move to New York or be a lot closer to my family. So I had this perspective while I was in London, is to really absorb the city, whether it was going to art galleries, museums, interning. And I really started interning right away. So I interned at Sotheby's with an exhibition. I had a part-time job at Prada on Sloane Street twice a week, just for extra money. And then I started working at Burberry as a showroom assistant. And that kind of exposure, I think having that clean slate and kind of going in as a student into London as a sponge, like absorbing everything. Like I loved the arts, I loved fashion. It was, I was kind of, torn between both. I worked in an art gallery on Saturdays one year. And so for me, I think that was kind of this pivotal moment in my life where I just think that having that work experience really helped define the things that I was good at, the things that I had interest in. And that's why I always tell students now is work experience is so, so important. Because if you asked me as a young child or a young woman, as a teenager, what the fashion industry is, most people would only think design, right? Like you think to be the famous designer. But the fashion industry is
so big.
It's so big.
Huge,
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and
basically you took all of it.
No,
I would say you took all of it.
I didn't take all of it, but I will say what was interesting to learn when you are doing work experience, you are working for these companies, that the designer can't work alone, right? So you need the pattern cutter, you need the merchandiser, you need the buyer, you need someone to look at the fabrics. The actual ateliers, you need a huge team. You need, also that final look that goes on the runway. It's the full look. It's the hair, the makeup. There's so many people involved with having a fashion show take place or seeing a collection go from a sketch to the retail store. And so I always tell people, or especially fashion students, it's so important if you can find a work experience opportunity, take it, even if it's getting coffee. Because when you're in that environment, you start seeing what the roles are, what responsibilities are, and you might be great in math and decide you want to go into merchandising or buying, or want to be in the finance department of a fashion company. If you like design, it's another skill set. So I think what I benefited from was really moving to London in that mindset of that I really wanted to be a sponge and learn.
Tell me please a little bit more about R&Co company.
Yes. So I moved to Dubai in 2007, and I wasn't planning on moving here because I had just taken a job in London for a big brand as PR director, and we bought a house here in Dubai, and I just came here for 3 weeks to really get the house sorted and then go back to London. And I had traveled to Dubai several times, so I really knew the lay of the land. I knew the landscape of the city. And there was something quite, I don't know, it was like those aha moments. And as an entrepreneur, you understand that I think most entrepreneurs have that, where you kind of just see it and you're like, I see a gap in the market. And in that course of the 3 weeks, that's what happened to me. I was going back and forth to this house that, my family were building, and I kept looking at the market and I kept going into these stores, and I started seeing that, the buy was different, the customer service was different. PR, there was no multi-brand showrooms like the way PR is done in Europe or America, where you have samples and then the samples, go to the magazines or the celebrities and they shoot. And so I instantly recognized a gap in the market. And so R&Co literally started from my dining room. And I started doing almost like mystery shopping for brands. I'd go into stores, and my ex-colleagues from Europe would call, and they'd be like, can you go into the store and just ask them, can they describe the bag? How does the service, is the service good? How's the store display? Do they know who the designer is? Do they really understand the product? The way you would have a luxury shopping experience is if you went in a major department store in London or New York or Paris. And so I literally started doing mystery shopping. And then one day I got a call from Tiffany's in New York, and the VP called me, and he just said, listen, I heard you have a luxury consultancy firm in Dubai. And I was listening to him, and he goes, we're opening the first flagship store in Dubai Mall. It's at the main entrance, which I'm sure Tiffany's is. And we want to have the president there. We want the yellow diamond. We're having the gemologist come. We want a whole week of activities planned for this launch. And I remember at the end of the call, he goes, by the way, what's the name of your company? And I literally went blank. So I kind of just gave him my initials, which was RR. And I said, it's RR & Co. Bespoke Luxury Management. I remember putting the phone down and literally calling my lawyer the next day going, can you like register that? Yeah, open a company and register this because we got a business. And you know, there was a really kind of pivotal lesson at that point, because when you start a company and you realize that you see a gap in the market, you now have a client. One of the first things I did, and I always express this to a lot of people when they're starting a business, is to do a SWOT analysis, right? To really understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities. And so I sat there and I was so honest with myself. I took a cup of coffee and I took a notepad and I started writing what my personal strengths are. What can I bring to this company? Now, if I want to offer these services of media relations and PR and press releases and writing and guest list management and you know, handling samples and coordinating an event, how does this company need to be built if I want all these services encompassed in that company? And so I did what my strengths are, and I wrote it down. And then all the gaps that I had, so my weaknesses, where I saw opportunities, where I thought the company could grow, how, you know, the difference that I think my experience would make, that's how I started filling those spaces with colleagues. So that's how I started building my team. So I knew that I didn't have strength in writing. So I found, you know, one of my best friends from Canada flew over and she became kind of my right hand, but she was also PR director. She was the one who wrote all the press releases. I had someone else who was great at admin and became the office manager for all the sampling, and she was great at that. You know, so I started building the team like that. And I think that was one of the first things I did that really worked and made the company just gel, because everyone had responsibility and I couldn't do the company on my own. And so everyone had responsibility to make, you know, that client happy and to execute the vision.
Diligence. This is like, this sounds like a masterclass for me,
Is
for
it
my
a
company. Yes, this is what I should do for my company.
Yeah, but you know, like, I will say, like, I've made so many mistakes along the way, right? And so, like, a lot of it is I didn't have.
But you've been doing it alone from the beginning, right?
Yeah, but you know, when you look back, like in having this company, I opened it in 2007, so it's 16 years. When I first started, like, you know, I didn't think about investment or like a proper business plan or, you know, financing. I would always kind of just use my own. I was taking my own money, like credit card. And so, you know, you really have to have someone who is responsible for the finances. And I think that was one of my biggest mistakes, because even though I had someone doing the accounting, I didn't have someone to like be like, no, Rosemin, this is how much we need. These are the overhead expenses. This is how much growth we need to do, these targets. I was actually just learning on the job because that company happened so quickly. I'm very blessed for it. But now when I look back, I always think if I had any failures, that would be it. It's really, I think anyone in the creative field or actually any business should always have someone to balance them out on the finance side. Yeah, structure and finance and all of that, because strategy. Yeah. And I think, you know, sometimes it's great when you have a small business, but you also need someone to really be that person to kind of question you and be very honest with you.
Yeah, now I began with strategy about the podcast.
Yes.
And I wrote the strategy from the very beginning, and now I'm following it like very strict. Even waking up at 6 a.m., go to gym, and working non-stop interviews. So first I need to grow my audience, of course.
But you know, Anastasia, you know what's amazing is that when you have a clear vision, and when I'm speaking,
you know where you go.
You know where you're going, and that's why when I speak to you, I think it's so great, because when you know where you're going, you know, you'll start when you have things coming at you, you know that it's not right because it doesn't fit with your path. And so that's really like, it's so exciting that you're doing that. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the podcast.
Yeah, you will see.
Yes, exactly.
you will be surprised. What about your personal life, about love life? As long as I know, you just got married with Javed.
I did get married.
You had amazing fairy-tale wedding.
Thank you.
At Opera Garnier in Paris.
Thank you, yes.
And I haven't been there. I wasn't invited. But I've seen all photos. My friends went, and
nice.
It was so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Tell me a little bit about your life. About
I think I'm very lucky too. I'm yeah, I mean, I think I'm very lucky to find love at this age. And I think
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Me too.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So there, I'm giving you. Yeah, I'm giving you.
1 month.
Okay. Amazing. Oh, so you're Pisces. Are you Pisces?
No, I'm Aries.
Aries. Oh.
I'm 21st of March, and you?
Oh, I'm 13th of March.
Oh,
No, yes.
you'll be 43.
44. Yeah.
I'll be 43.
43. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we were
Same.
same
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
In the same bracket, very close.
I don't care about my age, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't either. Honestly, I just think Jav and I were really lucky to find love again. It was the second time for both of us, and I also think that
second marriage
for both of us, and I waited a long time to settle down again, and so I was very independent. I had a thriving business. I love living in Dubai. I'm very grateful for this incredible country. I love my friends and my family, and I realized that when you have this full life, that when you're truly happy and present in your life, that's when love comes in. And it actually is so, things just fall into place. It's not hard, it's not difficult, it just naturally falls. And so I feel very blessed that I have a husband who's so supportive, who's my best friend, who makes me laugh, and most importantly, he's just so respectful to my parents, and he gets along with my brother and sister and my nephews, and I think that's what counts. And so I realize, when you have these ups and downs in relationships, when you do meet the right person, things just actually fall into place.
Yeah, that's true. What about your previous marriage? You married when you were
I got married really young, and honestly, it was really young. I was working like crazy when I was young, and I met someone, and it was kind of this whirlwind romance, and I think, when you're younger, you kind of just do that checklist, of what that person is. But now I realize the real checklist should be, do you share the same values as the person?
Exactly.
Nothing else.
Yes.
And so for me,
family values,
relationship values, respect, loyalty, trust, love. It has to be all of these pillars combined. And so, yeah, I got married young, and it was fine. I mean, it happened, and I just think it's a part of the course of life. But now when I look forward, and I just think both Jav and I have had this experience, we know that going forward into our marriage, we know how to build it better. And we have, there's a sense of emotional intelligence and, kindness and being thoughtful, and both of us work. So it's really about being patient, and, he's just so supportive. And so I always call him my biggest cheerleader, because when I am working or I have an event or a big project, the first message I get in the morning is, babe, you're a star, or good luck. And,
it's
very important.
Yes.
That person is he's your rock. And so I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I like sometimes asking sharp questions.
Okay, go for it.
Have you ever had kind of competition on TV? As long as I know, you are a TV presenter.
Yes.
And been doing it more than 10 years. So, for example, between women and men, I had a situation with company Reebok. They chosen me as their brand ambassador and their face in Russia. Mm-hmm. It was a long time ago. And they wanted me only. But in every last minute, and very last minute, they choose other girl, my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And they made a contract with me. They made a visa. They did visa for me.
Yeah.
I supposed to fly to Cape Town.
Oh, wow.
With them. But she went instead of me. I was so upset. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know what happened. Why? But with time going, I decided that for myself, okay, maybe it's the best thing would happen to me. But I really wanted to be there. Did you ever had some kind of experience like this? Because it's not easy to be So to be influencer, to be on TV screen all the time, some people want to like move you a little bit to put someone else instead of you.
You know, I think that you just have to be very clear. For me, opportunities come and they go, and sometimes, I'll get a job offer to present an event, and like there's so many times where either I'm traveling or I can't make it or I have a conflict, and yeah, I mean, I always feel like it's kind of like sliding doors. Sometimes when one opportunity closes, something else opens. So I always try and stay very positive.
Ah, so you are lucky. Okay. How usually do brands approach you? Because for example, I couldn't reach you, so we spoke on Instagram a few times. But how brands approach you to be their ambassador, to represent them, and
So I'm very lucky. I have this company, R&Co, which does more working with brands, so experiential events and advisory, consultancy. And then I have kind of the other persona of me, which is the presenting and the media and brand collaborations. And a lot of times when brands want to reach out, they can either send an email to the registered email address, which I have someone who handles the inquiries for that, and an agent if it's international projects. So I have someone that helps me manage my schedule. But also I always tell people, like, when you're doing brand collaborations, it's really important that you know your own personal brand values. So if there is a brand that I think both of us will have a mutual interest, it's really important to sit with them and see what their end goal is. Because I'm not a model, or I'm not, like, that's not my profession. As a media personality, it's, do my brand values are the same as their brand values, and can we work together to, whether it's promote a product or an event, or work together long term. So I always try and have these conversations with brands once I take the next step, that it's a brand that I'm interested in.
Thank you. Thank you. You were awarded the Global Gift We Believe in People Award for embracing and supporting the Global Gift Foundation. Tell me please a little bit more about this foundation, or maybe you do some charities, maybe you participate in some charities.
Yeah. So Global Gift Foundation is founded by Maria Bravo and Eva Longoria. So it's an international charity that they have, where they help young children, mainly in schools from everywhere from Spain to India. And so they always have a gala here. They do one, I think, in Madrid, London, and Dubai. And I think one in Miami, maybe. But they had one in Dubai, and proceeds go to Dubai Cares, proceeds go to Harmony House in India, and of course Eva Longoria's foundation, Global Gift Foundation, and it's really focused on children and education. So I've been working with them for a while, and so it was a really nice honor to be recognized for contribution in philanthropy.
Wow. So this is your other part, what you do with philanthropy.
I think I always try and give back, and I think it's really important to find areas that you're passionate in. And so for me, it is women in education. It is breast cancer, because my mom's a survivor. So for me, I really try and focus my energy and what I can donate and give back into these charities. And I've been really lucky to work really closely with Eva Longoria, as well as Lucy Bruce for Harmony House. And I think most importantly, I can see the impact. You can go to India and you can see the schools, you can see the children, they send you videos. And so that whatever you give, whether it's big or small, you're actually making a difference. And I've seen a lot of these young girls start school and actually graduate, which is amazing.
What would your suggestions to young ladies who is in the beginning of their path, in the beginning of their career? Yes.
I always tell students to do work experience. I think it's so important to have as much exposure as possible, because even if you're working in an industry that might not be your dream job, working in a company gives you structure. You learn time management, you learn about deadlines, you're learning different skill sets. And I always think, as your career evolves, it's almost like blocks, right? You're building different skill sets. And then till you finally find your dream job.
Thank you so much. We were very quick, actually.
No, I'm so happy to be here.
We are very quick. Maybe you would like to say something else. Maybe you would like to say something in the camera. Maybe.
I was just thinking even about how you approached me. You were just so honest and direct. And, I looked at your presentation and I just was really honored that, you had a vision, that you wanted to share stories
about people.
About people and women and their career paths. And so, that's one of the reasons I said yes, because I always think it's, when we can support women, that's the greatest gift.
Yeah, this is actually a question. Yeah. Why did you say yes to me?
Yes. I just thought you were very honest in asking me. You showed me your profile. You had a real clear vision of what you wanted to talk about and what you wanted to give back and what your platform is. And the idea of power of one, of these entrepreneurs and how we all start our businesses, because the truth is it's never one person, right? Like I might be the face of my company, or I might have the title, but I can't do my job every day without an incredible team. So
But you built it.
I didn't build it on my own.
This was your idea.
It was the idea, but you always need an incredible team to execute it. And so I never take credit for where I am today, because I couldn't do it without my team. I have the most amazing assistant. I have Mokshada here, who's like, my right hand. I have this incredible team, and it's not possible without them. And really, that's what makes a woman's success. So it might be the power of one, but it's really an entire team that allows me to execute my vision.
Yeah, this is true. I'm still building my team. I'm still in the beginning. As I said, it's just 1.5 months.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Like I know viewers can't see what's behind, but you have a great, tech guy and cameraman, and you need someone to have their expertise to make you look your best, for you to execute your job as a host.
Yes, and for my jewelry business as well. So I'm doing my jewelry for 4 years. And it's been very hard. I started when COVID started.
Wow.
When lockdown started in London in 2020. It was so difficult sitting at home, building my own website and my strategy. So I didn't build basically like strategy from the beginning. I started selling from the very beginning.
Wow.
The jewelry, yes. And it was bespoke. So people approached me, they wanted to do some necklace or earrings, something else, and so on. And I grow little by little. I try this, I try a little bit of my design, I try a little bit of working with different brands. And so I decided to stick with my own design, because I think the market is very competitive and it's very difficult to survive for jewelry brands, even for small jewelry brands. But unique design and personality behind help a lot. This is what I realized.
Well, for sure. And I think for designers, when you're making something so bespoke for a client, they want to know who's behind the brand. They want to know that you can give them that extra service. And so I think that's probably what you're giving your clients, because if you've had the brand for 4 years, you're definitely on the right track.
Yes, I hope so.
Yes. No, for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm
thank you for having
grateful that we finally met.
Yes.
We finally spoke, and I hope I see you in London.
For sure.
I'll be in London from February 10.
Amazing.
And I hope I see you in London.
For sure.
For lunch,
thank you for having me.
For dinner,
yes.
whatever.
Well, I can't wait to see the jewelry, and I wish you so much success, not only in the podcast, but your jewelry business as well.
Yeah, I wish you good luck too. I wish you big success.
Thank you.
If you'd like to participate in the show, being interviewed, having a short documentary about your ideas, how you brought your ideas into the real life, how it helped or improved your life, or you just wanting to be heard, get in touch with us. The Power of One is a show about people, basically about you.